Hello, my loves, and welcome back to the Source Embodiment Podcast. My name is Shayla, and I am so grateful to have you here. As always, I always channel these podcast episodes. I literally never fucking plan them. Just whatever, literally 2 seconds ago, I channeled what we needed to talk about. So since it's fresh on my mind, I'm gonna go ahead and dive in. I hope you're doing it so well. So specifically what I was getting was the insecurity of being spiritual. And I have so many things to talk about this because, as you guys know, I started my spiritual journey when I was 14. Really, I started when I was 9, but that was like not all the way. It wasn't until I was 14 that I was like actively, consciously pursuing the growth things and being super obsessed with activating my pineal gland, my third eye, that energy channel within itself. But throughout the 10 plus years, because I'm 26 now, I'll be 27 in a few weeks, I've noticed, oh my God, did I just, I just realized I like accidentally gave myself my wrong age. I'll be 26 on February 10th. Okay, you guys, I'm a 2000s baby. Okay, continuing on. So, that's like the most funniest fucking thing ever. That's how you can tell I'm like just starting a channel, because I'm like, human what? What's human? Okay, let me tune back in. So there's so many things that I have to say about this insecurity of what it means to be spiritual. And I posted some YouTube shorts, some reels about this. I talk about this so much. If you guys are not following me on Instagram, you definitely should, because I am constantly breaking down those walls for myself and for the people that are in my community and resonate with this. Because back in the summer of June 2025, actually this really started in January 2025, but really June 2025 was when I actively was feeling more of the pull intuitively from my higher self and from Source and my spirit team of the highest and purest light. Always get specific with that because I don't fuck around. About actually what it means, this embodiment of spirituality. That's why this is called the Source Embodiment Podcast, because it's nothing in the air. It's all grounded while you're still connecting to the overall energetic frequency of Source and these higher frequencies that are full of pure light. So back in January of 2025, I was getting this thing of like spiritual embodiment being the biggest piece that will be now seen more in the spiritual community. And these walls have been breaking down for years and years and years, but every so often you'll see it kind of shift where there's like a trend or there's a specific ritual, new moon, full moon ritual thing to do, or like, which mind you, I'm literally guilty of all these things. This is why I can actively shit on them now. Because I'm 100% guilty of all these things, like full moon rituals, new moon rituals, manifestation methods, like you fucking name it, I was all over it. I was literally there. But I have changed and found different things since then. And this being said is that like, I just had this intuitive pull and prediction that I was getting from my higher self and Source that spiritual embodiment is now going to be the main piece that will move the consciousness forward. So it's not this thing of like picking up one piece and then throwing it away for another, or like just trying everything just because it looks aesthetically pleasing, or, you know, even the sense of like what it means to be spiritual. And coming back to this theme of the insecurity of what it means to be spiritual. So I, like I said, started my journey when I was 14, and a lot of the things that I went down certain rabbit holes for, like when I first started my journey through learning about Buddhism and then really following the Eightfold Path and the Four Noble Truths. And then from that, it evolved into this rabbit hole of me wanting to open my pineal gland, wanting to develop psychic abilities, which, mind you, I grew up in a lineage of curanderas, but it never resonated with me because I mentally, emotionally, and physically was not capable of like understanding and truly holding space for those things of my ancestors and my lineage. So it wasn't until later down the line that I actually resonated with those things and everything started to make sense. But when I went through these multiple different rabbit holes, you see so many different senses and identities and avenues to explore spirituality. And the thing about this is it serves you so well for like dipping your toes in the water, right? Like it serves you so well to get an idea of what it means for you to be spiritual. What is the identity? Like if something resonates with you, how are you now going to embody it? How are you now going to explore different avenues of it? How will you honor every single aspect of it in a way that's actually rooted to you and not just this surface level thing of, wanting to try something just because 500 other people online, 500 plus other people online are doing it, and it now feels like something you should try as well. And I'm 100% guilty of this. I will not lie to you, like I said before. If you have been with me for a while, which I've deleted my old Instagram that had like over 5,000 followers and traded it out just so I can have only people there who genuinely give a shit about the things. Because how I even built that space was built off of this like insecurity of not feeling spiritual unless it looked spiritual. Not feeling spiritual unless it looked spiritual. And I've gone through so many different rabbit holes of the way that I dress, the way that I, would speak, the way that I would talk to people, the way that I had these like limitations of who I would connect to, who would I talk to. Like if they weren't, right off the bat spiritual, I'm like, fuck them, I don't want anything to do with them. Like these are all very, they're insecurities. They are insecurities about being spiritual and what spirituality actually means. Because if we're talking about the rooted embodiment of spirituality, which once again, I'm 100%, 1,010 fucking percent guilty of all these things. So this is why I'm sharing this with you, because I've since evolved and moved past those things. It's okay to kind of dive into that or have this experience where you're feeling, and honestly, the thing is too, I didn't even feel like I was insecure at the time. I just felt like honestly, spiritual ego / felt like I knew everything in a sense, like knew a lot of the spiritual things because I went down so many spiritual rabbit holes. And I didn't think that I was insecure about my spirituality. But then the moment that someone had questioned me or the moment someone had different beliefs, I wouldn't fully align with them. And of course, like I'm a big person on being respectful, on acknowledging other people's beliefs. And like, even if I don't believe in them, that's fine. Like, we're allowed to have different beliefs, but it's still in the back of my head. I'm like, oh God, like this isn't right. And even in the sense that I like would only date people who were spiritual, which I mean, even when I was in my relationship with my ex, which we were together for 8 years, he wasn't into spirituality or anything like that, but he was open-minded. So I got to fucking yap about literally every single thing all the time, which was nice. I do appreciate him for that. But then after him and I separated this relationship, I tried dating someone that was spiritual. It was really bad. It was really bad. I'm not gonna fucking lie to you, it was really bad. And it was bad and good. Bad and good. And then after that, I tried dating someone who was conservative and Christian, and that actually was a lot better. But then there was a conflict because obviously that person wanted me to drop certain beliefs that I know to be source truth, and then there's like the religious distortion side, so that didn't work either. But that being said, all of this comes back to this insecurity of what it means to be spiritual, this insecurity of feeling like I have to dress a certain way, I have to talk a certain way. Like, I shit you not, you guys. Maybe I'll find pictures and I'll like insert them. I'd have to dig through. But I went through an era where I just wanted to dress like a hippie. I just wanted like all of these hippie aesthetic vibes, had all the crystals, had all the things, had all the jewelry. And don't get me wrong, like I love that style. Like even how I dress now is really influenced by so many things. So really it's just whatever I feel in alignment with. But like how I used to dress, what I used to do, how I used to act is already so fucking different and more embodied than what it was before, when I had this massive insecurity about what it meant to be spiritual. And even in the sense of like connecting with people, right? Because if there is this massive insecurity around your spirituality, then you would genuinely feel like you cannot talk to literally anyone fucking else unless they had the same beliefs as you. And there's so many flaws in this, because if you actually know the higher embodiment of your higher self, right? The most healed version of you, the most connected to source, has literally gone through all the fucking challenges in the entire planet to be the highest and most high frequency version of you fully connected to source, their intuition, and knows exactly how to connect to their soul gifts, you would know that connecting with people who share different belief systems than you actually is a massive soul growth lesson to teach you pieces of where you're feeling insecure, where there's shadows of you that you don't feel rooted enough to your beliefs, that if anyone tries to contradict them, like your whole world shatters, or you immediately have to cut them off. Like even as I was dating this guy who was conservative and Christian, he was so fucking good at being respectful, and same thing with me. But a lot of the times, like we would talk about something and I would say, okay, you know, like I don't agree with that, but that's perfectly fine. Like you're allowed to have that belief. And he would do the exact same thing with me, because it's a level of just respect. It doesn't even have to do with like, you have to have this belief, unless like, obviously, you know, if you're trying to build a fucking family, that's a different conversation for another day. But if it's something in the lines of like, you understand that you can gain different perspectives and you're open to learning and hearing different perspectives because you feel so rooted to your own spirituality and what it means to you, then that's the higher self path. Like it's fucking hard, and trust me, it is hard. I know this from firsthand. It's hard, but it's 100% worth it at the same time, because the amount of things I learned from dating this guy, like the list goes on and on and on and on. It goes on. He was great. He was amazing. And it just taught me so much more of like where there were shadow pieces of me, where there is distortion in religion, where I can pick up on things that actually resonate and that I can see the actual authentic truth of source in. Because when you understand things from that perspective, you understand that there is truth in everything and there's also distortion in everything. And I feel like I have hair in my eye. Okay, I think we're good. So when you have this understanding of knowing like you can pick the pieces of truth, and especially too if you train your intuition, if you are connecting to your higher self, if you're actively choosing to trust the fullest, purest extension of source without any external distortion that will essentially like keep you small or keep you distorted from the actual truth and just feed you into a path that's not actually the path of your higher self, which is fully connected to source. And this looks different for everyone, because literally it could be you have to be like the most fucking religious person ever, but just to come back and have this like huge awakening in another area of your life. So there's a lot of different ways that this can unfold. But even in the sense that like you can pick up so many fucking pieces just from fully being connected to yourself and connected to how your spirituality and your rooted connection to God and to source means to you. And it has nothing to do with anyone else, more so of like how these people can help you gain more energetic pieces of knowingness that you needed for yourself at a soul potential and a soul capacity that you weren't able to understand before. Like your human is trying to understand this bigger concept of what your soul actually knows and what your higher self has already gone through. So if your human self, which really is the ego, shuts out everyone else because of an insecurity that you have so deeply rooted in your spirituality, then you're missing out on so many potentials of learning so much fucking information. And it's a very triggering and touchy subject, because we honestly, like, even in the sense of spirituality, like I've seen this literally in everything. This is why, like I said, I'm just here to connect with God and source. I don't fucking care about anything else. I'm just here for the like actual path and true embodiment of source. I've seen this in so many different ways in religion and in spirituality, where it's like, oh no, like that's not spiritual. Oh no, this isn't religious. Or oh no, this is blah, 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 blah. Or why would you do this? Or da, 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 da. Like I've literally lost friendships because of this. Because the moment that I started shifting away from this distortion and perception and like grip on this insecurity about being spiritual and just fully letting go and allowing my true soul potential come through, then I no longer resonated with those people, and they no longer resonated with me, because I'm not agreeing with them on everything anymore, because it's just like, no, that doesn't fucking make sense. Like I've literally lost friendships when I started dating that guy that was conservative and Christian, because not so many people, but like the people that were my friends were questioning the fuck out of me, and I'm like, you don't even know the person. Like there's so many more pieces to this that honestly no one would fucking know unless they're actually looking at the truth of the situation. So, and that's the thing, it's like I and this is why I love using intuition and like really scrapping away and removing the fucking dirt of the spiritual illusions, because you can sit here all day, every day, read all the spiritual books like I literally have. And I gave a lot of them away too, which is so funny. But like going through all these things, researching, which is fucking phenomenal. Do not get me wrong, because that's literally where like all of those things, all those rabbit holes got me to where I am today. And I'm so grateful. I would not have changed a single fucking thing. But at the same time, like, it doesn't matter how much it is. If you're insecure about what it means for you to be spiritual, none of that shit matters. And at the end of the day, you'll always be picking up pieces that aren't actually you. And it's a very different thing from you picking up pieces from other people, other, teachings, other teachers, other mentors, fully seeing how it resonates with you. How does this tie into other aspects of your life? How true is this when it's truly connected to source? Really fucking debunking everything. Like, I have this mission in my life where I want to be my own private investigator for all the energetic things and all the life things. And this is literally what we do inside of private sessions as well. I am your personal private intuitive investigator. But it's also too that the sense of like, you can't take things at face value. Like, you literally have to question, dig deeper, because there are so many pieces that are being overlooked just because of an insecurity that isn't actually the full extension of source. Either it's also not honoring the full extension of source and honoring the full extension of you. Because I would be straight fucking lying to you today, right now, if I told you that, this is the only way and blah, 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 and da-da-da-da-da, and you gotta do this and you gotta do this. Okay, there's a lot of truth in certain things, like, there's a lot of truth in certain spiritual laws of the universe. There's a lot of truth in the way that you live your life in alignment. But even then, it looks different from person to person. If I say meditating every single day is the only way you're gonna do XYZ, that's fucking wrong. Literally, that's fucking wrong, because for every single person, it can look 100% different. For me, it was, my obsession with meditation, which at the same time was its own illusion and like ego thing of like wanting to separate my physical body from like the spirit world and the spirit realm, and just like being more connected to the energetic parts of things, because I was so obsessed with how much information I could receive. But then when I stopped doing that and obsessing over that, and I really started honing into that in the physical, a lot more things started to come together and connect for me, where I was pulling the energetic information from source, from God, and still doing it in the physical, in the 3D, not just only in this meditation where I felt like that was the only place that I could do it, because that was an insecurity. But for literally every single person, it looks so different. That's why, once again, the insecurity of what it means to be spiritual, when you are, trying to hold on to things just because someone else does it, you hear it over here, and like you're not actively finding the pieces for yourself, then it really just leaves everything up to question, and it's perfect. It is fucking perfect. Don't get me wrong. It's perfect, because through that, you go through so much fucking trial and error. Like, I can tell you that from a fact. So many trial and error experiences of, unintentionally opening a fucking portal because I didn't know about this, and then now I have to fucking do energy work on myself to remove dark forces, and then I gotta learn about this, and then I gotta do this. Like, literally so many trial and error things over the past 10 years, because I was just taking in so much information, and I also too felt insecure about my spirituality, where I couldn't just connect to myself. I had to like try a bunch of different things, read 500 things, combine 500 things. And like, oh, fuck it, I'll just do everything because I just want to know everything, which is beautiful, because it helps you, once again, trial and error. Like, if for the sense of growth, I never shit on anyone who does that, because literally guilty, but I will shit on myself for it at the same time, because I know what it brings and how much longer it just causes things to be when you could just connect to the full authentic truth of source, rooted from within. So not an external thing, but rooted from within. And it's so many levels and layers of things that you would have to, or not have to, but that you would need to connect to within yourself to not have this like flighting feeling of I need to do this, or I have to try this. Like, it needs to come from a full connected place within that is intuitively felt and intuitively connected to Source and to God. And there's a very big difference between like the emotional ego part versus your intuition and the higher self truth that's connected to God that is pulling you to things. Like some people can swear that they're meant to do something because of an emotional trigger and ego and trauma response that is so big, but it's really just an insecurity versus being at a calm place where you're actually connected to Source and to God, your intuition, and you're actively moving every single piece of yourself energetically, mentally, physically, and emotionally on a path that you feel pulled to because you've already, kind of slowed down and like quieted or silenced the external noise that was distorting every single avenue that you could possibly go upon. So I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast episode. If you have any requests for other things, just let me know. I would love to take in some requests. But once again, too, I channel these any single time I make them, like literally 2 seconds before I started recording. I'm like, okay, higher self, let's go. What are we talking about? And here we fucking are. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you're not following me on Instagram, please do it. There is a link down in the description box. You know where to look. Okay? And I post whatever the fuck I want over there, honestly. The podcast is really where we do our informative things. And then I also have the Sacred Embodiment newsletter, which I give you free weekly, and it's a collective space. So I read the thoughts and like collective energy for the souls in the free newsletter, and I'll send you a voice message like every single week to the collective there. And then we also have free intuitive check-ins in there. So basically you give me anything that you're experiencing, and I give you, it's supposed to be 60 seconds, but I always go over the intuitive information and channeled truth behind it, so you can start shifting whatever it is that you're experiencing or wanting clarity on. And I do that weekly on Mondays. So, and what else? I think that's everything, you guys. Yeah, and we have our private sessions as always if you do want me to be your own private intuitive investigator. So I hope you have such a beautiful rest of your week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.